Hello, Commanders. Today we're at Postboard Gaming in Findlay, Ohio, and we're going to bust out our first game of Dropfleet, UCM PHR, standard starter, so we're not going to bother with Army List. We'll be back after turn one. Alright, that's the end of turn one. Basic deployment. We are playing on a short board. No confrontations yet. Everyone is just outside of range. As a side note, this will be the first in a linear campaign that Jordan and I plan on playing. From the Dropfleet Commander rules, we're going to do an Invasion of Eden Prime. So he will be playing the UCM in space and the Resistance on the ground. I'll be playing PHR all around. We'll be back after turn two. All right, that's the end of turn two. So the most exciting thing that's happened so far was the Hector unloaded its burn-through laser onto the Moscow. 5 hits, all crit, right into the side of the Moscow.
That is not a Moscow, but it is for this game.
It is for this game.
I either didn't build it or didn't bring it.
Jordan, as you may see by his T-shirt, already got his Admiral Kickstarter. We've discussed this in previous bat reps. He's a bastard. So between that and the combined fire of the 2 Europas, and then being finished off by the Icarus's forward cannon, the Moscow is off the board.
Extremely lucky.
The dice were kind to me.
Beyond kind.
The Moscow's retaliation resulted in, after going weapons free, the Moscow's retaliation resulted in a single point of damage on the Hector and a single point of damage on my Europa nearby. Theseus is close range with the Seattle and has unloaded its broadside, scratched it a little. The Berlin is firing on that Europa, moving into a bigger engagement. The Medeas have both dropped troops into the industrial sectors. And the New Orleans are still in low orbit, getting ready to drop into Atmo for turn 3. We'll be back after that. All right, everybody, we got 3 in the books. So the Icarus is crippled. Her engines are out. She went weapons free and unloaded her side bombardments onto the Berlin, which is not a Berlin, and the Seattle. Minimal damage. The Seattle is nearly crippled, just not quite there. Troops have landed onto the ground. The PHR is holding this sector well. The UCM did drop a tank, and it managed to deal with the infantry holding one of the industrial complexes over here. We'll be back after turn 4. Okay, we've completed turn 4. Feeling our way through the rules for the first time here, but we lost the Seattle over here. The Icarus was destroyed by the Berlin moving in. Between the Berlin and the Seattle, it just could not take the pounding. The Hector then moved up and unloaded a broadside into the Seattle and removed it from play. The Theseus in the background here went weapons free on this Berlin that's still packing a high spike and put a couple of rounds into the side of it. At the end of turn 4, the scores have pointed out to 9-4. So the PHR has a 5-point advantage moving into turn 5. Back after that. All right, so we reached the end of turn 5, and we just finished the last activation, and we're going to call the game here. The UCM took quite the pounding. Some close action weapons in low orbit, or in Atmo, which we believe worked. We're going to double check and verify in some rules. This was our first game. It ran a little long as we're learning everything. But we're down to a crippled Berlin that's dying out, and the PHR has a damaged Hector, an unfaced Theseus, and a pristine Europa hiding somewhere. So ship-wise, the UCM's just kind of not enough to compete, and the ground assets aren't there, especially with the loss of the strike carrier over here. So we're going to go ahead and call the game there. That last point in turn 4, it was 9-4. Are we keeping this as our first campaign game, or are we going to play another one to restart our campaign? We'll decide this later, I guess. If we keep this as a campaign rule, what we're doing is the team that won, so in this case the PHR, will have +1 command value. in the recon game, the 750-point recon game that we're planning to play next, and that would be from orbital surveillance. So if we keep this game, then the PHR are going to have +1 CV in that 750-point game, and it'll escalate up through the 8 games to a 1,500-point clash at the end. So, end of the first game. The bases are frustrating, you would say?
I didn't mind them so much.
They frustrated me. The pigs, the pogs especially. I will probably just track those with dice. But since we are playing outside of our homes, we got a War Machine game going on right next to us, which has been fun. We've been chatting and sharing game stories and pushing interest both ways. So, all right. But since we are in a public place, it'll be hard to chat for a long time, so we're just going to let this go with this. We'll play another one in the future, and we'll talk to you. Thanks for watching.